Hello. Now, some of you are aware, I have played some ranked on my American account. In fact, I've actually reached rank 8 now, but I was around, after I posted my Farragut win, one of my viewers on Twitch actually decided to give me the Atago as a gift. Now, for those that aren't aware, Atago is a cruiser that I rate extremely highly. From a competitive point of view, it's probably one of my absolute favorite cruisers because I think it scales extremely well with personal skill, and I consider it a very powerful carry cruiser in the right hands. It of course varies greatly. Many people have probably seen Atagos who get deleted instantly, and that's probably one of the reasons why I like it so much, because if you don't play it well, you kind of don't have that much of an impact, but then depending on how well you play with it, you can have a huge impact on it. Now this is American ranked. It's the rank 10 to 5 bracket. I think I'm rank 9 in this game. Of course, I'm calling out what I hope will be some tactics that will be followed, but sadly I'm quite disappointed straight from the start. Ace 3131, who had our absolute best spawn to get into A, is turning around and making a U-turn and giving away the best spawn advantage. Now, as considering we are fighting 3 DDs, 3 BBs and a Chapayev, whereas I am in an Atago, contesting the cap from the start is something that we kind of wanted. It's highly important when you're against a Chapayev, because you want to be able to get the cap, or you want to be able to contest the cap before they can set up into position, because the worst case that can happen if you're against a radar cruiser is giving up the cap for free, and then when you come in to contest it later, they've all set up, they're all in position, and the Chapayev can just radar you, or well, as soon as you get spotted, you get hammered, and then you get radared and you get killed. So that's the worst case scenarios for DDs. So giving up this cap advantage completely at the start is a huge mistake in my opinion. Luckily, however, their Benson is a bit over-eager and probably doesn't expect me coming around this as close as I am. I instantly call target on him, and I start hammering him with Atago HE shells, which of course deal massive damage. Now my aim wasn't as good as I would have hoped there, only 3 hits, but I got torpedoes heading deep into that smoke, and I doubt he will be able to escape this. He's gonna hit the torp. Nope, looks like the fell behind him. Whatever, I secured the kill regardless. So whatever advantage, well, they got the capture point, but overall they gave up a huge advantage. And here I'm being actually radared, but I actually missed that I'm being radared here. That's why I turned away that I was spotted, but I completely missed that I was being radared here. So here I actually make a mistake, because you see our DDs are hiding behind the cliff there, and I call them out on it, like, what the hell are you doing? Stop hiding, you need to push in. But this is basically just me being an idiot, because if I was too tunnel visioned on the minimap, and the fact that I was normal spotted earlier, and I did not notice the fact that he radared. So me calling them out here is a complete mistake. Personally, it was because of their lack of scouting and their earlier pushing that I'm thinking they're doing the same thing now, but this is just me being full of shit. He says radar is on, and then I realize, okay, that was obviously me making a mistake call. So in this case I was definitively wrong. But in the beginning, giving up the cap advantage was a huge issue. But now that the radar is used, we have once again an advantage. Of course, we have a kill. And the fact that this Bismarck, Kursk, well, he's giving too much broadside. That's a big issue. He's giving way too much broadside pushing into this cap. But the fact that he is pushing in with his hydroacoustic on is a huge help for us, because it lets us spot pretty much everything, their DDs, their torps and everything, and it lets us push into the cap. However, the issue is that he gave too much broadside and he's taking too much damage doing this. So what could have been an advantage is essentially turning into a not very beneficial trade here. I mean, 1 DD for 1 BB is in general, and I mean, having an additional DD is usually an advantage in domination, but in this case when there was already 3 DDs, it's kind of questionable, especially since we're against a Chapayev, which is quite good at countering DDs particular. So ultimately, this isn't really that much of an advantage. But we secured the cap, which is of course huge. Sadly, this other Bismarck on our team that was pretty much AFK the entire game has finally woken up, and he decides to, instead of joining the team and helping us, he decides to split off and go to B. Well, I push up in the smoke that my friendly Benson has laid here, and I'm gonna see if I can just do some harass from here, deal some additional damage, because at this point we're down a battleship completely, and this Bismarck who's running into B alone, something I do not recommend ever. Don't split up, especially not in a battleship. How are you supposed to escape an unfortunate situation in a battleship? But anyway, I push in and I try to basically give us some advantage here, because I suspect the Bismarck will be lost. Luckily, pushing into the smoke actually pays off, because the Benson is a bit over-eager to get here to contest, and he's being spotted by our Fubuki, I assume. It must be the Fubuki spotting him, or it could be actually my fighter plane at this point, since the fighter plane flew over him and he opened fire, which increased his spotting range. So naturally, from this range, the Atago is exceptionally deadly. I of course instantly activate Hydro, and I spot his torpedoes coming on reverse to avoid them, since I want to stay in the smoke. There's so many battleships and stuff. I just want to see if I can maybe secure the kill. The smoke is running out, which is of course an issue, but luckily they're not focusing on me too hard. I'm not gonna get that kill. Wow. Okay, well, I missed out on that kill. Unfortunate, but as long as we got the kill, I'm happy. Now the DDs are a bit too eager right now to go for kills in the enemy spawn, instead of actually trying to secure B in general, because their battleships are kind of forced out of position already. You can see the battleships are in the enemy base. They of course repositioned themselves there because they wanted to kill the Bismarck, as I said, who got himself killed, as extremely predictable. I mean, you'd think at this high tier of rank people would have learned that you shouldn't run off alone, especially not in a battleship, but I guess some people are quite slow learners. So now we're down 2 battleships, but we have killed 2 DDs. At this point, I realize I have to do a lot of damage, or my DDs need to land. Oh, and we're down to no battleships. So I'm basically our only form of real direct damage at this point, because all our battleships have managed to get themselves killed, so I'm the only form of damage we have. Now the Tirpitz here luckily repaired one of my fires extremely early, and right after he had repaired, he ate a bunch of torps, so I assume he's flooding. So I'm just spamming HE on him at this point, because I want to finish him before his repair comes up again. I got a fire on him though, which is good, and I'm gonna spam some more HE on him to see if I can maybe finish this guy off and limit their firepower just a bit. Yeah, obviously going to catch B, we can in no way contest it, especially since our two DDs are up at the D line. This is the ace guy that gave up the first cap advantage. He's now running around frag hunting. Okay, I didn't get the kill, but whatever. Once again, a kill for the team, I will take it. Fubuki and Benson once again frag hunting. I don't like this. They should be trying to get us the B cap instead of trying to hunt for kills, especially since there is a Chapayev around, in which case sticking together and playing more as a team is more important than running off solo, because if they get radared, they might get punished heavily. Now I noticed the Chapayev pushing in. I launched one volley, but I instantly switched to AP as I realized he's actually going to give broadside here, and this is a chance to punish him extremely heavily. I don't think he's radar. No, he's not radaring because I would be spotted. Our Benson is taking huge damage though, so I want to discourage him from doing it. Switching to AP at this point, when he gives this much broadside, punishes him extremely heavily. 23k damage. I'm sad I didn't get more citadels. I actually got 2 Urpens there, but considering I took out 2/3 of his HP, it was ultimately a good thing. He's obviously turning away. I try one more AP volley, but I'm switching back to HE at this point. Now the DDs understood to smoke me up here, which is so this Nutten guy, who has actually, well, besides ramming me at the start, he's actually played this battle fairly well. In fact, he's been the most level-headed out of all of these DDs. Not only did he smoke me up, he's also telling other DDs to smoke me up, and unlike the Fubuki, who's running off kind of frag hunting, and unlike the other Benson who gave up the first cap advantage, this Nutten guy has been playing the Benson quite well this game. I get spotted, but I'm already on the move since I had plenty of warning of when the smoke would run out. Trying to finish off this Chapayev. The Chapayev of course can't heal, so any sort of damage on him is pretty much permanent. And I know he produced his repairs, so trying to get a fire on him. Now the other North Carolina used his, I saw him take torpedoes, so I know he's taking damage. At this point I doubt this fire will finish him. I think he instantly repaired that fire. In fact, I am taking damage. Yeah, he instantly repaired it. It's been so long since I actually citadeled him, so his repair is up again. Now this North Carolina, if you keep an eye out, you notice that he did in fact eat torpedoes. So I'm gonna see if I can set some fires on him to finish him. The ace 3131 who gave up the advantage at the start, he got him, and the one who was self-frag hunting, he ate a bunch of torpedoes. I managed to secure 2 fires. Of course, I finally got a demolition expert on this captain, which is what makes, of course, the Atago significantly stronger. So the 2 fires should finish him. I spot the Benson as well. He was trying to smoke up his buddies, but he made his turn very obvious, so I could predict exactly where he was going, and I landed a significant amount of damage and secured the kill there. The 2 fires finished off the North Carolina I was talking about, the one I had set on fire earlier. So in this point, we managed to bring it back to 3 versus 2, but once again they still have, it's still pretty 50-50 because they do have that Chapayev who can at any point pop up and take out one of us. So Fubuki is still kind of frag hunting on the side, which I'm not really a fan of. But this other Benson, Nutten, is once again using his smokes to smoke me up because he realizes I'm our really only form of direct damage, so he's trying to make the most out of it, which is good play by him, once again. So in fact, blind shot into the smoke, no citadels but some big penetrations. I angle myself a bit better in the smoke if he's gonna start doing this. I'm tempted to switch to AP here since he's giving me broadside, but ultimately I decide to switch to, or stay with HE since it synergizes better with the Bensons and the Fubukis with all the flooding and fire damage they can put in. Ultimately, at this point, am I torp going to hit? Fire. Yes, I do land the torp with my prediction, and this is actually good because he has to repair now. He's been saving his repair, but this absolutely forces his repair, which makes the game a lot easier for us to recover from. The issue, of course, is the Fubuki has very little HP, and the Benson has no HP either. So the Chapayev with radar can kill him quite easily. You notice, by the way, my angled armor. In this case, I took 0 damage. North Carolina attempted to shoot into the smoke once again, but because I angled myself slightly better, his blind shots did 0 damage to my angled armor. Smoke is fading out, and I've lost vision, since the Benson obviously has to keep kiting. But I know that I've forced a repair on this guy, so getting a fire would be good. I turn my ship so I can actually use my other side torpedoes, since my right side is still on cooldown. I set the fire, which is good. The Chapayev is now engaging the Fubuki, who seems to have been caught out. Fubuki down to 400 HP. North Carolina kills the Benson. That has actually been playing well here. But I get good torps off on the North Carolina, and I get good shells off on the low HP Chapayev, and I manage to finish him. And my torps finish off the North Carolina, and this in turn actually gives me a double strike. As you can see, when the scoreboard comes up, the last kill on the North Carolina gives me both the Kraken and the double strike, and of course the usual Confederate high caliber and usual stuff. Ultimately 160k damage and 900k credits, and if we look at the scoreboard, the Atago carry is fairly real. I did end up complimenting Nutten, the Benson. I thought he played this quite well, compared to, especially, I wasn't a big fan of Bismarck's. One was way too aggressive, the other ran off, and honestly, the DD's ace gave up the early advantage. The Fubuki spent way too much time trying to frag hunt instead of playing as a team at all. But Nutten the Benson played this game well, and here in my compliment. Anyway, this was my Atago in NA Ranked commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I tried to keep it as objective as possible, including calling out my own mistake, calling out the DDs for backing off. When they were actually being radared was of course a mistake from me in chat, but something I recognized later on. But overall, I found this a pretty good game, and also shows the sheer firepower of the Atago, especially if you have DDs willing to help you out. Even when we lost all our battleships, we were still able to come back thanks to the sheer damage potential that this ship has. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.